Hiya, it's Ali here, and I'm just coming on today again to do some of my funky fossil stamps from the last release, now which was the 24th of June. And basically I've just thrown a lot of stuff on my desk and I'm just going to have a play. I really don't plan anything. I find that if I plan something I make it, and then I'm making two of it. I don't like doing that. I like everything I make to be sort of unique and not trying not to have two of everything. So the plan, well, there is no plan, but what I'm going to do is I've just popped these on. I'll show you what I've got, and then I'll chat along as I'm doing it, and we'll see how it goes. And then if it goes really badly, I'll put music over it if I'm chatting inanely, and then other than that we'll just see what we get at the end. But what I want to concentrate on is one particular stamp set. Is this one. It's Beauty's Garden. It's lovely as this. It's really lovely, and it's got some beautiful vases and moths, and then here you've got some sort of floral elements. And then you have Just Breathe and Beauty's Truth for the sentiments. So I've picked this and want to do something with it. I watched a YouTube video this morning and I thought, oh, I quite like the way that she's done that. So I'm going to try and use what she did as inspiration to create this card. I'm also going to use Funky Fossils Baroque. Let's just see if this will show it any better. Not really, but it is the, let's have a look. There we go. The Baroque stencil, which I think is really beautiful and architectural in style, if you like, and that I think goes really nicely with the stamp set. And then I've just picked out these little ones as well. I've got the Leafy Swirls, and oops, that's upside down, and I've got the Damask, and I'm going to have a play with those as well. So that's those two. I've already cut out, stamped and cut out a couple of moths. I don't know which one I'll use. I may use one, I may use all. And they stamp and cut out absolutely beautifully as usual. I'm going to colour those with my Faber-Castells, which is my pencil crayons, because I want to give them sort of a soft touch. And plus I've stamped them out with VersaFine, so I won't be using my alcohol inks on those. So I'll pop those, oopsie daisy, pop those there. And I'm going to be using these Lindy's Magicals. What they are is, oopsie daisy, they are coloured magical powders. Basically you can paint, water, you can use with them alcohol, you can stamp on top of them. They really are an excellent addition to your mixed media you know, stash, if you like. And I haven't got all the colours, but I've got colours that I like and use regularly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to use the purple. Okay, no, I'm not, I've changed my mind, I'm going to use green. Okay, so I'll just pop those over there for a second. And what I've set up initially is I've got a piece of watercolour card. I use the Daily Rowney, the Aquafine Smooth watercolour card, because some people have asked, what watercolour card do you use? I'm just going to show you now. It's this one here. So it's about £12 for 50 sheets. And it's absolutely brilliant. I love it. You can throw lots of water at it, lots of mixed media techniques at it, and it's really good. So what I have also done is with my scan and cut, I've just cut out a circle onto some plastic because I want a circular background. So I've just done that, and I've hinged it to my watercolour card. Okay, so like I said, I don't really have much of an idea what I'm going to do, but based on this video I watched, I'm just going to have a play. So with the Lindy's, I'm just going to shake some out onto my little silicone mat at the side. Oops a daisy, that's way too much. We'll go on with that. And then I'm going to spray some water on it. You don't need an awful lot, she says. But we'll go with what we've got for now. And I'm just going to spray and make a puddle. Okay. That's going to be a big puddle. Okay, look at those absolutely yummy colours, and the loveliness of these. It's so sparkly. Absolutely love them. So I'm going to leave them at the side, sort of prepped. And I'm going to grab my stencil. Okay, I'm going to have my heat tool on standby because I'm going to heat in between, for the simple reason I don't want to muddy up any colours. So I'm going to pop the stencil on there, and I'm just going to tape that down at the top to create a little bit of a hinge again, just to keep it sat down and then I don't go. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my little dauber, which is what I'm going to use to pop this on, and then I'm going to use yellow. I'm going to use the lightest colour in the background to create the first layer. So I'm just twisting my dauber a little bit, like so. And I'm also going to show you how I create other backgrounds as well. So there's my first layer, but before I take that off and dry it, I'm just going to grab a piece of watercolour card, and I'm just going to go over the top of that and just wipe it over. Okay, all will become clear towards the end. So I'm just going to lift that up. You can see the startings of the background. So I want it to be circular in its shape. So then I'm going to use the same dauber. I'm just going to grab the green. Okay, and just in some places I'm going to add that green. Okay, and then I'm going to grab that beautiful blue and I'm going to do the same thing. Just in some places I'm just going to add okay, I'm just going to lift up, and you can see how that's building up underneath. Okay, so I'm going to lift off my stencil, okay, and I'm going to bring in, put that to one side, I'm just going to bring in my watercolour card. I'm going to get a baby wipe, I'm just going to wipe that onto the card. I don't like wasting ink or any kind of medium, because you can use it to start building up another background. Okay, so just pop that to one side, just wipe the excess off. Okay, okay. Again, even with the excess that I've just wiped off onto the copy of paper at the side of me, I've got the startings of another background. So I don't waste anything, I keep everything as much as I can, because you never know when it will come in handy. So I'm just going to wipe around the outside of that stencil. So bear in mind, I really don't have a clue what I'm doing today. I've just popped on, I thought, oh, I'm going to do a video and it will be what it will be. So I'm going to lift that up. I'm just going to dry that off. So bear with me 1 second while I just dry this off. Okay, so that's nicely dried off, and you can see, if you look, there's some sparkle in that beautiful powder as well. So that's just building up a really lovely background. So I'm going to go back over the top. And then what I'd like to do, just grab my microfiber cloth, just give that a dry on the outside, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some depth to the outside of that using a little bit of ink. So I'm going to grab my, I'm going to do it in green. I've got this on my brush already. Now I may have enough. I'm going to use Prickly Pear, which is one of my Make Art ink pads by Wendy Vecchi, which is one of my favourite. Oopsie daisy, I've got the underneath of another pad there. One of my favourite ink pads sets. So again, I'm going to go off the Mylar onto the project, and I'm just going to go around all the way. Okay, that's just one pass. So let's just have a look. Oh, that's lovely. So that's just to give it a little bit of depth. Okay, so I won't add any more of that. Quite happy with that, to be fair. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the circle onto the project that I've made. Okay, so that I don't get anything on what I've already created. And I'm just going to do my favourites splats, and I'm just going to use what is already in there colour wise. So I want to control it a little bit because I don't want it all over. Okay, and a little bit of the green. As I say, I don't want it all over, so it's a little bit of control. And then that beautiful blue. Okay, pop that there. Then what I'm going to do is just let that dry off for a second. So I'm going to put that to one side, just to let the let those little powders dry. I'm just going to bring this in. I said about building up a background for another card. So you've got the Baroque stencil in the background there, in the different colours, and it's another way of building up backgrounds. So all I'm going to do here is another little trick that I love using. It's just using lids. So a small, medium and a large lid. I think that's off a Hairspray. That's actually a shot glass, I think. You know, one of those plastic shot glass things. And this is off a, let me think. It's off a lid to some spray or another that I've got in the cupboard. So I'm going to use that, and I've also got a tiny one, a little one, which I've just pinched off one of my Pearly Ink sprays, don't tell them. And then the other thing that I get is a little, you can either use a store card, an old credit card, an old debit card, and that sort of thing. So this is just going to, while the other bit's drying, while we're waiting for that, it's just to show you another technique for another background, because as I say, I have some beautiful lovely emails and messages asking me how I make them and that they like them. So I'm going to incorporate little bits of background ideas into the videos that I make. So right, I'm going to shut up now and get on with it. So this is actually this is actually a Glitzcraft sort of spreader. It's what's used for Leona's sparkle pastes, and you put them through the stencil. But because it's got a nice rubber end, I like to use this rather than the plastic end. So I'm going to put this through what's left of the paint. I told you I don't like wasting anything, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Okay, and I'm going to run the edge of the little scraper through that, and I'm going to go in different places and just add some of these. So I'm going in a uppy downy motion. Okay, so that's just added another element there. So I'm just going to wipe that off, or I'll get it on everything. Then I am going to grab my small Pearly Winks lid, don't tell them, and then I'm going to add some circles. And this is a way that you can create backgrounds where you don't need to go out and buy a product. If you've got because you can do exactly the same as this using your distress inks or whatever inks you have, as long as they can be used with water. I think most people have distress inks, so I'm going to grab some yellow. I think it's all melding together now, so we're doing well here. I'm just going to... It does not have to be perfect, that's what mixed media is all about. So it's starting to build up a really lovely background. So I'm going to grab my... I'll pop that back on the Pearly Winks spray before I get found out. I'm going to use this one, which is quite a big one. I'm going to pop that in and then pop it down. I have lost some of the colours but that doesn't matter. So that's evened it out a little bit. I'm just going to dry this off, and then I'm going to use a stamp to do a little bit of something else. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so that's nicely dried off. What I am going to do is grab the leafy swirls. Okay, and I'm still using the same medium all the way through this. I'm not changing the mediums. So I'm going to pop this into, I haven't tried this before, so whether it works or not, this is a first. So here we go. So I'm just popping it into the medium and popping that down, and then onto the project. So that's quite good. As long as it's not absolutely sopping wet, you're getting some definition. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe that off while I change colour. I'm going to pop it down into the yellow, and I pop some up here and here. Let's pop some here and down here. So there you go. And again, it's all water based, so you can go for your life with it really. So I'll just leave that there to dry. Now then, I'm just going to blast that off again, so bear with me another tick. Okay, so that's nice and dry there. So as you can see, we've got a beautiful background there. So I don't want to do too much to make it too busy. I'm going to now decide, right, what we can do is we can make something with this, so we can have two projects in this video. So we can have, if we're working in threes, we can, let's have a look. It's always the last bit is deciding how you're actually going to put something together, isn't it? So I'm going to just colour these up a little bit. So I will fast forward this and pop a little bit of music on, and then when I come back I'll have some of these just coloured up. So bear with me one moment. Okay, so I've coloured up 2 of the moths there, and I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkle onto those wings. So I'm just using a sparkle pen. It's a Gossip one, which is one from Stamps by Me, and it really is packed with sparkle. It's absolutely brilliant. I love them. Okay, so that's all nicely coloured up. So I'm just going to bring our little background into play again. Here we go. So I'm going to pop one there. I think I'm going to have one coming in the opposite direction, sort of that way. So then I'm going to add, let's have a look. I've got some of the washi tape, which is Funky Fossils, and it has some fabulous sentiments on it. We have wonderful, happy, smile, love, joy, wish, splendid, awesome, marvellous, fun, celebrate, fabulous, amazing, epic, bravo. It goes on and on to there. So you've absolutely loads and loads. So I'm going to just crop it there. So because it's mixed media, I'm not worried about it being ripped. So I'm going to pop in a spectacular, because I think that's spectacular. I think I'm going to add amazing down here. I am going to add, let's have a look, what have we got? Marvellous. I've actually got a marvellous up here, so I'm going to pop that up there. So I'm going to pop that within this circle here. Okay, so you've got your 3. Then I am going to add my little moths on there. So I'm going to make them a little, look like they've got some fluidity, some movements. So I'm just, oops-a-daisy, what have I dropped there? I don't know, I shouldn't be allowed out. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to grab my glue gel, that's the word I'm looking for, and just bear with me while I just unclog it. Okay, so I've unclogged the glue, and I'm just going to put a nice dollop on there and pop that on there, and then a nice dollop on here, and pop him there. So I'm not that they're going to go and actually hit each other, so I'll have them sort of going in that general direction. Don't want any accidents. Okay, and then to just finish that off, I have got some lovely water drop gems. I've used all my clear gems. Funky Fossil do have some gorgeous enamel dots, clear enamel dots. Unfortunately, I like them that much, I've used them all. So I'm just going to grab some of these. They look like water drops. Tweezers. I'm just going to pop some of these on here, just to finish off. Oops-a-daisy. I absolutely love putting these things on. That just needs to go on top of there. I've got one up here. Let's have a see. That's a small one, just about here. There we go. So that is that one finished, and all I'm going to do is just matte and layer that onto a card or a canvas backing, And that's the first one. Okay, again using those beautiful moths, so, and creating a lovely background from what you've literally mopped up to start off with. So easy. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring the other one into play that should be nice and dry from earlier, which it is. So if you can see now, you've got a lovely background there. Whoopsie daisy, picking up stamps and all sorts. Okay, so now then, what would we like to do with this one? Let's have a think. Told you I have no plans, just sitting here enjoying myself. So I'm going to grab the, I think I'll grab the moth, the little moth should I say. Here we go. So I'm going to use this little moth here. Yes, I think we'll use that. So I'll pop this out of play again just for a second, and I'm going to colour this one in. So if you bear with me, I will be back when I've coloured this little beauty in. Okay, so I've coloured this little one in here, which is what I'm going to use for my little circular. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm just going to use that little Gossip sparkle pen and finish off those wings. Okay, and I'm also going to use a white pen just to add some dots. Just for a little bit of added interest. Okay, so all I've done is just added a couple of white dots with a Posca pen. Okay. Then I'm just going to do what I did before and give it a little bit of a curl, if you like, just to make it look like it's flying. And I'm going to bring back in my little card bank, so I can take this off now. Kind of finished with that. Just move these out of the way. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little, I'm just going to add a little bit there. Okay, pop those out of the way. I'll pop my, just grab my glue gel again. I'm going to pop my little moth just about here. I think I'm going to go for a stamped sentiment on this one. So bear with me one quick second. I'm just going to pop this over. It's just copy of paper on the side. And just take that down a little bit so it's not quite as in your face. Okay. Let me think. So I'm going to go for a sentiment. I like the Beauty is Truth sentiment, so I'm going to pop that on. So I'm going to grab my, in fact I'm going to grab it this way. I'll pop it towards the end so that I've got plenty of to get in there. Right, okay, so I'm going to pop you up there, mister, so you look like you're going for a fly. And then bring in my VersaFine. Check that that's, yeah. pop that in. I'll make it straight. I'll pop that in there. Okay, and up you go. And again, rather than making the video extremely long and whatnot, I'll take this away and I will mat and layer it, and then you can see the picture at the end. So that is that. I think I'll add another couple of those water gems because I can't resist. I do like using them. I'm going to pop a big one there and a little one. I'm going to just make sure I grab the glue behind it. So I'm not sure if I like that one there. I think I'll pop it. So if I pop that there, I haven't picked up the glue for that one. So I'll pop that back down on its sticky bit. Maybe just as well because I didn't like that one there. So all goes to show, doesn't it? Things happen for a reason. So it didn't stick because I didn't like it there, did I? So I'm going to pop a little one. I think I'll pop it there. Okay, so that's some more little water drops. As I said, what I'll do is I'll go away now and I'll mat and layer that, and it'll show at the beginning. I'll probably just chop a little bit off there as well, so it's not quite the same distance, but we can work with that. So that is what we have for today. We have 2. There we go. So I hope that you enjoyed those and that you have a go. Don't forget to go to Funky Fossil to purchase your stamps. Don't forget the products that we used were the Beauty's Garden stamp set. So here we go. So we've got the Beauty's Garden stamp set. We used the Baroque stencil. I also used the Leafy Swirls stamp in this one when I did the extra bit of stamping. And we used the Lindy's Magicals. All I would suggest is just pop on Amazon or pop it in Google and that'll show up where you can get these from. So I used the blue, yellow and green of those. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you like and subscribe. Click the bell, I'll let you know when I'm doing another video. Comment if you like stuff, comment if you've had a go. That's brilliant. I think that's all I can say for now, really, without the video being 20 hours long. So thank you very much for watching again, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.